What's up, everyone? This is Christian Duke from StrengthAddicts.com, brought to you proudly by IronMagLabs.com, your go-to source for all your bodybuilding and fitness supplements. Just got done watching The Last Rep with Bob Cicherillo and David Bay, episode 5. They talk about Dave Palumbo, Flex Wheeler, the whole roid rage issue, and much, much more. I'm going to talk a little bit about the points they raised. Initially, I wasn't very impressed. It sounded like they were taking Dave's side. I have some notes here. Cicherillo did mention guilt by association, saying, Dave, he's got GREGG Valentino there, BOSTIN, LOYD. They were trash talking. They made a point about trash talking versus opinion. And Cicherillo was saying, you've got these guests there, and they're trashing on Flex. You're kind of guilty by association. Cicherillo also confirmed that Flex was angry, which, I was starting to get a little worried there because I was like, come on, Bob, you've got to stick up for Flex. Bay also said that BOSTIN, LOYD, and GREGG Valentino make a lot of comments out of left field. So it really sounded like these two were defending Dave, and neither one of them saw the episode that talks about Flex Wheeler, which I thought was a kind of like a snafu. They didn't really do their homework, and so I wasn't very pleased. But then Bob Cicherillo, who really is a leader of the show, back in the old days when you had Pro Bodybuilding Weekly, I would say Dan Solomon was sort of the one that led. Here, I would say Bob sort of leads, and Bay follows along. He has his own opinions, of course, but it's clear who's running the show. Bob talked about the fact that when Dave says Flex had roid rage or Peter McGuff was obviously drunk, according to Dave, these are excuses, and maybe the problem is not with Peter or Flex. Maybe the problem is with Dave. He also talked about the fact that Dave came to Flex as a friend, and that's why Flex really didn't want anything to do with him, because a friend would have stuck up for him. And that's a point that David Bay brought up, and also made an analogy to when people attack Sean Ray about never picking up checks and this and that. David said, a friend would, stick up, would say something. One thing that David Bay did say is he talked about RX basically being a tabloid, and said that maybe Dave is up to this kind of antics because of a quote-unquote lull in bodybuilding, because there's no shows right now. I think that's a pretty hardcore point. So, overall, there's a lot of good information here. I would definitely check it out. David Bay also said the athletes should be respected. IFBB pros should be respected, especially someone like Flex Wheeler, who has risen to legendary status. There's a lot of really good stuff in this show. I definitely would encourage you to watch episode 5, The Last Rep with Bob Cicherillo and David Bay. And Bob Cicherillo also said that he had read somewhere about, Dave's roid rage comments. He didn't read about it somewhere. He read about it from me because I commented and I sent him messages, and I'm the only person that's done videos. Nothing against Digital Muscle, Evolution of Bodybuilding, Muscle Sport Mag, or anybody else, but nobody's want to talk about this because nobody thinks it's really big news. I think it is. And but Bob at least responds to some of my Facebook messages. David Bay to date has never responded to a single one. I saw him at Jim Mannion's show last year. He looked at me like I didn't exist. These guys, I think they think they're on a certain level that I'm not at, and that's totally fine. We're all in the media.